Greetings of the hour, students. Hope you all are keeping well and are very much involved in your academics with our online support. Today, I will start with the second part of the Resources and Development chapter. Hope you all have gone through the first part of this chapter and benefited through this video. The topics that we will discuss today are development of resources, resource planning, and sustainable development. Now we all know that resources are the very important part of human existence. Not only that, for maintaining the good standard of our life also, resources play a vital role. It's believed that resources are free gifts of nature. Free gifts of nature. And that's why through ages we have exploited all the available resource on this planet indiscriminately and led to the numerous problems which we are facing now. Depletion of resources for satisfying the greed of few individuals. This is one of the major problems. Students' mind, the key word used in this sentence, depletion. Depletion of resources. That means resources are the amount available on the planet is slowly decreasing to satisfy the greed of few individuals. It is said, rather it's believed, that there is enough resource available on this planet for satisfying everyone's need. But there is not enough to satisfy our greed. Accumulation of resources in few hands, accumulation. That is, we are creating two concepts of haves and have-nots. That is the rich and the poor. Accumulation of resources in few hands. If resources are not evenly distributed, obviously we are having two segments in the society, the haves and the have-nots. The third one, the problem of using resources indiscriminately. The third problem, indiscriminate exploitation. We have exploited without thinking about future, without thinking about the consequences of too much exploitation. And this has led to global ecological crisis. It's disturbing the ecological balances everywhere. It's disturbing the ozone layer. It's leading to environmental pollutions and obviously degeneration, degradation of lands. Now for all these problems that we are facing, we need to plan very judiciously that how we should use our resource so that we have a comfortable life and our future generations should also have a comfortable life. Here the concept of sustainable development is coming. The sustainable way of planning for the usage of resources. So what is resource planning? It is making a judicious way of using the resource, thinking about the strategies in which we can use the resource in a judicious way. And especially it's important in India to make a planning of the resource, because we have a lot of resource. Enormous diversity of resources are there in India. So we should have a judicious planning. So there are 3 steps involved in this resource planning. One is identifying the inventory of resources. That is number 1. Number 2 is evolution of economic and technological development. And third one is matching the resource with the developmental plan. Now, identifying the inventory of resources. What does that mean? Identifying the inventory of resources means to find out exactly where the resources are located and then make a planned documentation. Inventory is to make a planned documentation to register what we have found out in a planned way, so that next steps of execution becomes easy to us, becomes easier for us. Then comes economic and technological evolution. That is, the resource that we have found out after we have made a planned documentation, we need to think about that if we exploit that particular type of resource, how much it is economically feasible for the country as well as in the local level, and at the same time how much technological accessibility is also there. By this time I know that you know the meaning of these terms, that economical feasibility and technological accessibility. That is the second step. And then the third step, that is, we need to match the resource with the developmental plan. That is, how we will make this resource a developed resource through this economic feasibility and technological accessibility, so that it will benefit us both in the national as well as in the local level. Understood, students? Here we come in the concept of sustainable development. It is the economic development that should take place without damaging the environment, and development in the present should not compromise with the needs of the future. We should live and we should let live. That should be our motto. We should also have a comfortable life, as well as we should make things in such a way that our future generations should also have a comfortable life. We should not over-exploit our resources. We should make a judicious planning of the same. Here you know that resources are unevenly distributed on the globe, over the globe, and resources are also limited, mostly the non-renewable resources. That is why sustainable development is an essential part of resource development. In this regard, international and national leaders have made several policies to save our Earth. First comes the Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit. It happened in 1992 in June. More than 100 heads of the states of different countries, means the leaders of different countries, met in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, in South America. It was the first International Earth Summit. What were the points of discussion there? The urgent, the most important problems of environmental protection, how we should protect our environment, and socio-economic development at the global level. That is, the whole world should develop both in their economic aspect as well as in their social aspect. The leaders who assembled there in the Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit, they signed the Declaration on Global Climatic Change and Biological Diversity. That is, we need to protect our environment and also look into the protection of the wildlife, the forests too. The Rio Convention endorsed the Global Forest Principles also. In this regard, another achievement for sustainable development in the 21st century was Agenda 21. It was held in the same year 1992 in Brazil. It aimed at achieving global sustainable development. It was an agenda to combat environmental damage. Whatever environmental damage we have done through centuries, last 2-3 centuries, through pollution of industries, poverty, disease. So all these were the points of discussion: common interests, mutual needs, and shared responsibilities. There was another major objective of the Agenda 21. That is, local governments should concentrate on the development of their own local area. Agenda 21 means it was the planning to make a better world in this 21st century. That is why it's named as Agenda 21. Hope you have understood the lesson. We will meet again.